the voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is Pro Football Sweden. Welcome to Season 2, Talking Football in Sweden. Feel free to leave us comments, send us messages, and let us know how we're doing. We're going to try to keep this thing rocking. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Jalo Juice. What up, Juice?
What is up, PFS? What is up, Purvis? Hope everybody
Hey,
well.
we made it to the playoffs, baby. The PFS
Playoff
podcast is
time.
available. Yeah, the PFS podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast. You can see it visually here on YouTube, wherever you listen or watch. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get into some football. All right, first quarter. Let's talk energy on the PFS pod. From last week's game, what was positive, what was negative? We start off with the negative so we can finish on the positive. Juice, what was your negatives from last week's games?
I mean, I keep this one kind of simple. The negatives that not all the teams can get into the playoffs. This last year we was like, we didn't like this system because some of the lower teams got in. But this year, season needed last year rules because I think all those 4-4 teams proved it in these last 2 weeks that they deserve to be in the playoffs. Like Icor getting out and Stockholm not making it in. I kind of feel a bit bad for them. At first I was like, nah, man, they ain't deserve it. They ain't deserve it. But I think that's my negative for this. It's just like they did what they had to do. Every team won the games they needed to win, and it came down to one team just winning the game, and now everybody gets in. That's how it goes sometimes. C'est la vie.
Yeah, your negative is more, well, my negative is a little more petty. I was watching the Oslo versus AIK game, and it just stopped. Like, it wasn't over. The stream just cut off at the end of, like, I think the game was almost over, but it couldn't have been over. Like, I couldn't tell how much time was left anyways, but it was just really, guys, I spent like 10, 20 minutes trying to figure out, like, oh, maybe I skipped it or did something crazy, but no. And then also there was a video glitch in the I want to say the Karlstad game. Somebody, I think Rory Kelly got like a pick six or something in the
Yeah,
game because there was a full 9 seconds that I just did not get to see. And
I got it.
before you
I
got
got
it,
it. Yeah.
oh, well, maybe it's my
No. I didn't see it. No, it happened. It really happened. But I'm just saying they sent it to me. I saw the play.
okay. Well,
It
that
was
must be
dope.
nice. I'm glad somebody
Yeah.
sent you to play. I didn't get to see the play, and I was just like, "That's 9 seconds that was gone," and something happened. I saw them like look at a number one afterwards, and the score changed. I'm like, "Oh, damn! I missed a big thing." So those technical difficulties, I know it happened, blah blah blah, but boy, it sure do happen a lot in the Super Serien. Like the Oslo game, the camera was slanted, and I was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna trip. I ain't even gonna trip. And then, didn't know the score. Obviously, I tried to keep up with it myself, but I don't. I think I actually did a good job. I had the right score, but then when it just turned off at the end, I was like, this is some bull. So that's my negative, the petty stuff. But overall, it was a positive weekend. So let's talk about the positives. I'll throw out my positive first because it's really simple. Positive was Karlstad getting the dub. That was a positive because I think it made it an even series between them and Orebro. I wouldn't have liked it if Orebro had won and they had beat Karlstad twice already. Because then you feel like if they meet up again, it's really hard to say who's like actually gonna have a chance, and it doesn't seem fair. But since Karlstad ended up with the win, feels like, if they meet up in the championship, it's a 50-50 again. And I like that. So that was positive for me. What about you?
To be honest, the positives for me was that the quarterback play looked really good to me.
Hmm.
The quarterback play looked really good. And, Brandon is my boy. That fire. I mean, there were some plays where he put the ball in there and the receivers were dropping balls. I seen him moving out, getting the ball out deep. Jay, Jay is that guy, man. And we already been hyping up Michael Richardson, uh, but it's Slade Jarman. You know what I mean? Like the ball comes out looking so weird, but he be firing that ball out there. Like
Because
I remember the
he left-handed. I think the
the left hand.
left-handed
You know what I
looks
mean?
different.
It looks like he's throwing everything into it. And watching on the film, I don't know, the stream makes it look a lot faster than what it is, but it looked like he just shooting it out there like with a weird kind of. There was a whip route I saw. What's my boy named Alvin Forsman did, and it just saw the ball come out there like crazy hard. I was like, bro, how did he catch that? You know what I mean? Like he threw fire at him, but the QB play looked amazing this weekend. I got to give it to the QBs for my positives.
Yeah, that's all positives I got. So we move on with it. All right, we're in the second quarter. Top performers presented by Ballers International. Let's name a couple guys who stood out to us from last week's game. Juice, give us a few names. I'll give us a few, and then you can give us a couple more.
I mean, in the Brew Cossack game, man, it was so many ballers in that game. I already said the QB, so I give him the credit. I won't talk about any QBs, but Roy Kelly, that boy had himself a day. Offense, defense. Trevor Vasey, catching the ball one hand, snagging that thing down. In the rain, I believe. I think it was raining. It was kind of hard to tell. Was it raining?
I don't know. It didn't look like it might have been raining.
Later, but I think it was raining. Kevin Borsay did his thing. Brandon, I ain't gonna talk about any more quarterbacks. I'm gonna just leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it right there because I can go down a long list, and I do got some swaggy people, as well later on to talk about if we get to that. But
yeah, we can get that because I'll throw in my guys because I had those 4 guys on there. Trevor Vasey, man, he looked good out there playing receiver. The one hand catch, I mean the fade ball, just that they're gonna throw the fade ball. How tall is Trevor Vasey? Like 6'4", 6'5"? Like it's crazy. And then Kevin Borsay, I want to say this about Kevin Borsay, and I don't care if you agree or disagree. That man looked better than everybody else that's on the field. Like Kevin Borsay looked like he should not be playing in this league. Like he looked like a man playing with little kids. Like
we've been trying to get that feeling. We've been trying to get him the feeling for the longest.
He played in Finland one year back in the Gap. I don't remember what year it was, but he's been in Finland before. But all I'm saying is like, yeah, he has. I'm for sure he has. I know he spent one season or one summer, a couple games or something on one of the teams. I don't remember. I just remember his name. But it's just every time I see him play, it just looks like he's way too good to be playing against who he's playing against. And I want to say like with no disrespect, but I mean all the disrespect to anybody that's tried to guard him because it don't look like nobody can. And it just looked like him and Trevor Vasey at times, it just looks like, come on, man, this ain't fair. Like when OBK get to the red zone, I'm like, so what y'all gonna do? Y'all just gonna y'all can't double team him because he's gonna run a fade on the outside. That's Trevor Vasey. But then Kevin Borsay, anytime during the game, he can beat the defense deep. Or he can catch the ball and make everybody miss. He's almost untackleable sometimes. Like it's crazy to me, like how good he looks compared to everyone else in the league this year. And again, in the past, I've seen him before. He's a great receiver. I think he's really good. But this year, he just looks like he's a whole step ahead of everybody to me. So that's all I'm saying about him. Brandon Gwinner looked really good, like you said. Not gonna overdo it, but he looked really good in this game. A guy that stood out to me, Alvin Forsman, number 12 from Karlstad. He had a couple toe taps where he was on that sideline doing his thing. Like he looked good out there this week. I like that. Another guy from AIK, I don't think I got the right name because I looked up the roster and it says receiver Thomas Rudo, but I'm number 17 that played cornerback. If that's his name, then yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the same guy because on the roster it says receiver. And the number 17 I'm talking about played cornerback for AIK, and he just made a few really good plays that I liked. So I just want to throw his name out there so people can know that he was out there balling. And then last 2 guys I got from the Oslo Vikings, because I still think they played very well as well. Will Sell, as
Of course.
usual, did his thing. But number 10, Sigurd Stinson, the guy that you say always got the drip going on, he made a couple plays too that really stood out to me. And number 10 was all over the field in this game. I don't know the stats, obviously, but it looked good to me. So those are some guys that stood out to me. You said you had some swag guys you want to talk about. We can jump into that if you want to.
Now, there was one guy I just really wanted to make it particular. It was
Okay.
number 11. It was number 11 for Earl Brew, but he was
Okay.
getting a little bit, he was getting salted up. So it was just like Alvin Forsman was giving him a day, but goddamn, that boy had some. I love this drip. You know what I mean? He had the long body look. I don't want to pause. You know, the body was like fitted really well. Black socks had the shirt tucked out on the white. I was like, man, my boy look drippy, you know what I mean? But he was getting sauced up at the same time a bit. I mean, he did have a few good plays, but then it was just, you know, I seen the frustration on him. But I just want to give him his swag points because he looked really. Eric Brew got the uniforms that look really good. Oslo every week, you know, I love all the drip players, so they probably tired of me shouting him out with the drip, but he was drippy.
Yeah. And you said there were some plays that you might want to talk about. This would be the time too if you want to talk about some of these plays.
There was a play that happened that, you know, Erebu scored off a play where the guy was definitely down. And then there was another time where it was a fumble that happened and Carlson got it.
Yeah, when he fumbled.
And the ball clearly came out. And I was like, you know what? That probably was the football karma right there for balancing it out because they did not deserve it. They did not deserve it. That touchdown that Erebu got, that was, to me,
the scoop. Yeah, the scoop and score. The scoop and score one, right? Yeah, he was down. He was down. Yeah. But I saw it too, and I was like, why don't they review it? But it is what it is, right?
And the thing is, they got the Jumbotron over there, so I know because I heard the fans reacting like, oh, you know, because I'm pretty sure they're replaying it over there.
Yeah, so they were pissed off about it.
I mean, at this point, I recommend we're in Europe. It's supposed to be professional, semi-pro, whatever you want to call it, because not everybody's being paid. But if you get the opportunity to look at the replay, like they should build it in the system because it just keeps the game a lot more honest. And that's what rules are for. And you can use film. Why not?
I disagree. I say stop trying to get extra yards, man. F it. Save it till the next day. I don't like putting anything in the ref's hands. And when it's close, it's always like it didn't have to be close. Like he reached out as he was going down. He could have held it tight and just went down to the ground. You would have had no problem. But he kind of reached out to get a little bit more. That's when those type of things happen. And it's just, again, obviously when you're playing at like a higher level, like you said, and there's probably review and stuff, go all out for it. But in a lot of times in these games, when I'm seeing like guys like reach the ball out, I'm like, just don't do that. Like if it's not the championship, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Players don't do it, but I'm saying they should have review. They should use challenge, except for when targeting happens. Except for when targeting happens, and I play defense. Don't do that.
I was gonna say this: if we can't even make sure the stream is up for all 4 quarters, I doubt they're gonna be able to challenge it. We can't even get the camera to be straight on half the games. Matter of fact, it's Monday. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 p.m. when we're recording this, and we just found out who actually making the playoffs. Like, I think they got enough problems.
Hey, the referee's gonna look. He's gonna look at the review and say, after further review, the camera was slightly tighted this way, so we couldn't tell if the ball was on the ground or not. So, first down, quick call stat.
Well, I mean, knowing the way that the league does it, they could review it, and then on Thursday they'll call the play back and say, okay, that play didn't count. Change the score of the game. But anyways, I mean, I think it was some good plays this weekend. We had a good weekend. Let's get a little bit into the playoffs now. All right, so going into the playoffs, let's look at how the season ended. Let's go over positions and standings. Season ended with first place being Carlstad Crusaders at 7-1. Second place being Terraso Royal Crowns at 6-2. Third place being Orebro Black Knights at 6-2. Fourth place, K-Town Predators at 4-4. Fifth place, AIK at 4-4. Sixth place, Stockholm Mean Machines at 4-4. Seventh place, Limham Griffins at 3-5. Eighth place, Oslo Vikings at 2-6. Ninth place, Copenhagen Towers at 0-8. Now, let's talk a little bit about the controversy of the 4-4 teams. Now, I don't know what decided who is where, but we do know this: K-Town Predators, AIK, Stockholm Mean Machines are all 4-4. Mm-hmm. Mean Machines don't own any tiebreakers. They lost to both of those teams, so they're not going to make it. We know that. Now, out of the K-Town Predators, AIK has a better points record. They have a -7. The Predators have a -10. But the Predators get the spot. Now, I have no idea what they decided to decide, like, why they get the spot. But for me, I think they should get the spot because of their conference record. In their conference, the Predators were 3-1, while AIK was 1-3. And I don't know if that's a tiebreaker, but it makes sense if it is.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what it really comes down to, because you look at it in the playoffs. We have two teams from the West, and they finish with the better records. Then there's one team from the East, which is Tidisa, and there's one team from the South. Because if there's to put another East team in there, then it'd be like there's no Southern teams in there, and I think that's where down to it. And they have the head-to-head win over Stockholm.
Yeah. That's what's crazy. We said this earlier in the season.
And Stockholm actually beat Icor once, while the Predators, beat Stockholm, and they didn't need to play.
True. Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. They did beat them once.
So that kind of like just puts them above them, even though what would you think? You think if Icor played against the Predators, Icor would win it?
I say look at the records. Now, I say look at the division records. It tells you which team is better, in my opinion. K-Town, they're 3-1 in their division. Those 4 games are against the Limham Griffins and the Copenhagen Towers, 2 of the lowest teams in the league. Now, AIK, they played their games against Tiraso and the Mean Machines. But outside of that, AIK has beaten other teams from other conferences. And it's probably the same teams that K-Town beat, actually, when I think about it. Who did they beat? Oslo and Copenhagen, I think, or Oslo and Limham. So now that I'm thinking about it, thinking it through, I initially thought, well, AIK probably has more good wins, but neither one of them have really good wins.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that Kristianstad, they're in the playoffs, and they lost to 2 of teams that's in the bottom 3. They lost to one Limham, the game 1 against them, and they lost to Oslo, which is weird because
they got bad losses, yeah.
Icor beat Oslo, and I think almost everybody beat Limham except for I think Limham only win. Oh wait, Limham.
They got 3 wins. So they beat.
One of them came from. 2 of them came from the worst team, and one of them came from
K-Town.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think the problem would have been solved if they had played each other. I think it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, you're in that situation where you don't know which team is better because the schedules are so sporadic between all these teams. I said it earlier in our group chat. I think the issue isn't necessarily with the system and how they put it together. I think it's with only playing 8 games.
Yeah.
8 games when you have 9 teams and you're not playing everybody once. That's crazy. Now, if you had played everybody once, you still would play 8 games, right? But you only would have played everybody once. But at least you would have played everybody. But they didn't even do that. You played some team, which gets you into a situation where now we got a team in the playoffs that may or may not be the better team out of those two because they don't play each other. If everybody would have at least played everybody once, we might have a different looking, setup here. But it is what it is. So it's gonna make exciting playoffs. Let's get into those matchups.
Yeah.
All right, playoffs start this weekend. I don't know if we have like dates per se, but sometime this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. First game, Carlstadt Crusaders versus K-Town Predators. Second game, Tiraso Royal Crown versus Orebro Black Knights. Let's jump into some of the matchups, keys to victory. We'll start with Carlstadt Crusaders, number 1 seed at home. What do they got to do to get a win this week, Juice?
They're already at home. We all can look at this and easily say that the Crusaders are going to favor to win this game. However, this could be one of those situations where it can be a little bit trappy, for them. I remember, Karlstad before, when they played, it was in 2018. Karlstad, had the 86ers, Uppsala coming there and almost upset them, at home, and we thought Uppsala was like trash. This one they had only 5 teams there. Like Uppsala shouldn't have been there. And Coach Mo had them boys ready to go that game. And Kronstadt, they have some power. Like that's a team that, they kind of play to their level almost. And sometimes, like they playing against Tiraso, they play a little bit above Tiraso, then just end up doing some things and lose. They play against Oslo, play to the level and lose. You know what I mean? So we never know. I feel like they could surprise some teams, but the key matchups I would say is that they got to figure out how to get to Slade Jarman's signals, and shut down that offense, because their offense. I was looking at their plays this past week, even the play that Roy Kelly scored on. It was just beautifully designed. You know what I mean? It's like it makes you fall asleep as a secondary. So they got to figure out a way to just stop these pretty plays that Karlstad has. And offensively, they're gonna have to put up a good scheme because Karlstad defense fly around. I love the way that number 11. I don't know where he came from. Don't know his name. Maybe I do know his name, but he just probably changed his jersey number. They didn't really say his name, but that boy was flying around on the field, for Karlstad. It was good to see that. It ain't only Matthias and Gooding, flying around to the ball. So let me get straight to the point. So just matchup wise, just stopping Slade Jarman from spreading the ball out to all the receivers for Kronstadt. Then defensively, just trying to get Karlstad and stretch them because it's possible. They got some playmakers and it's possible. If I flip it around, just show I flip it around for Karlstad right now, or
go for it. Yeah.
And Karlstad, just don't fall asleep on them. Don't think because they're Karlstad and they're in the South and they lost some games that they should have won and they won some games that they probably didn't deserve to win. That's still a football team and it's the playoff time. Anything can happen. Now it restarts. Everything is 0-0.
Yeah. Sounds good. I think for me, I'm going to say that for Karlstad to get the win, they need to shut down K-Town's offense. They need to pressure Miles Richardson. They need to make sure their quarterback is moving, make sure they're uncomfortable. He's not able to set his feet. It's going to be hard for him to reach, Lou Debo? It's going to be hard for him to reach him if he's moving off his spot. If they do that, they'll be fine. K-Town offense won't be able to do anything against them. And then offensively, just do your thing. You got enough firepower to overwhelm that defense. It is what it is. On the other side, for the Predators, obviously on offense, you got to try to make something happen. You got to take a lot of shots. I say take a lot of shots. I say swing big. Don't be too conservative trying to keep the game close because on the defensive side, there's not a lot they can do to stop them. They don't match up well, in my opinion, on the
Mhm.
defensive side, which means offensively they got to pressure. You got to put up points so that Carlstadt is uncomfortable, so that they don't
Yeah.
feel like, oh, we can just, normally, if you're looking at Carlstadt's offense, they're gonna hand it off to Schultz, let him get a little bit. Then Slade gonna pickle that thing around to everybody, make sure everybody get their touches. Come back to Schultz, maybe a short little pass or a screen. Then he gonna pickle that thing around. Oh, the defense is getting a little tight. Then he gonna hit them over top with a big play, and you're done. And the reason they do that is because time is on their side. The game is close. They don't have to do anything specific. But if the Predators are, scoring at fast clips, getting the ball, going down the field, 3 plays, touchdown.
Mhm.
Now, Crusaders offense is on the field, and they're like, hold up, we just came off. Why are we going back on the field? Okay, we need to score. And that's how you get mistakes. Put them in a situation where, oh, they weren't ready or they're not accustomed to the game going this fast. They're not in control. If you saw the last game when they played against OBK, I thought it was going to be another route. It was 21-0 in the first quarter or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Like,
it was 20-0. It was 20-0. And it looked
yeah,
like it was going to go that way. And then boom, Crusaders got right back into it. And then they
yeah,
finished. I was thinking the same thing too. I was thinking, oh, you about to turn
yeah.
on your screen.
Yeah, I exactly what I was thinking was, man, I didn't turn the screen off. I wrote down in my notes, deja vu, because Crusaders fumbled on the first drive. And again, for the Predators, that shows that the Crusaders have figured out how to get through adversity, which means you got to do even more in this playoff game where it's win or go home. You got to make them feel uncomfortable for 4 quarters. You can't even just do it at the beginning of the game. And you can't wait until the second half because that would be too late. They're just too talented. So for the Predators, I say go out there, do things different, mix it up, and throw the kitchen sink at them over and over, man. And if they do that, Predators could be in this thing. For the Crusaders, it's more about controlling the game and doing what you already know that you can do. But for the Predators, they got to go out there and do something different. All right, so for the other matchup, we got Tiraso Royal Crowns. They're going to be the home team versus Orebro Black Knights. What do you got for Tiraso to win this one? Keys to
Man,
victory.
this is gonna be a tough one. Tiraso is another team that has some really good play designs. And they probably need, I don't know what's up with Devin, number 4, but I don't know if he's coming to all the practices, but he got to work on his screen awareness. Like when he's running the screens, he's kind of getting out too like past the lineman to where he's so explosive and got some juice in him. I do see the juice in him, but he's not setting himself up for the best situation. But um They this is another team similar to Carlstadt where the quarterback can lead, and I know it's not only him. So I do want to give credit to the OC, but I do think that Tiraso is does really well when the offense is on the field for a good amount of time. I mean, the defense is good. There's some holes there, but they get around fast. It's like every week they got some new player that I'm seeing who's like um, showing up for them. But what Tiraso can do to win this game is they use this cute play design because you see that when it happens against a team like Brew, it can open up several different things. So find the matchup, like just because somebody's swaggy out there don't mean that they go to ball the whole time. So if you can pick on somebody, do it. They have pretty good receivers. Welcome my bro Pablo. I play with Pablo, and I wish I had my Teresa gear, but I play with him in Teresa. Welcome to the Swedish League. He was number 13, and he also was a kicker. Welcome him. But spread the ball out to your playmakers and use your cute play designs, to help you win the game. And don't be super complicated because, as you see the explosive plays that Carlstadt did, there wasn't just like all cute. Just they kept some things simple. And of course, be ready to stop them. For many years, Irbru always done a good job with blitzing, and they know they disguise, and sometimes they don't disguise it at all. They just sit in the house.
That makes sense. For me, I'm gonna go about TRSO. Their keys of victory in this, I think, is very simple. I I hope I've said this every week, but I'm gonna say it again. They're easily the most talented team in the league. Use that talent. I think when they play against Orbital, it's just one of those situations of you have so much talent, you don't know necessarily where to go with the ball or who has the hot hand. Just use it all. I think they can overwhelm OBK with that. I think that this offense is talented enough to put up 40 in this game. Easy. They can put up 40. Defensively, the issue is they're very inconsistent. That defensive front, I don't know if they've had injuries. They had a lot of different personnel coming and going, but it's good. They can get after the quarterback. They can, I mean, it's going to be tough going against Thick Vic, but they can get after him enough to make him move. And the thing that they haven't done all year, they haven't done it consistently. Some games they get after them, some games they don't. They have to play this game like it's all or nothing. I think if they do that, they'll be fine. But if they don't, they get into a dogfight. And ultimately, I'm gonna say this too. I don't know if TRSO got the heart for a dogfight. From my experience the last few years watching TRSO play, they got that kind of like prima donna feel to them, like, oh, we know we're good. And then when it come down to it, when you need TRSO to like do what TRSO does, they rarely come through for me. And I'm not sure if they got what it takes to come through in this game. And I think that that's a mindset that they have to get fixed. I think they have to have a mindset that we are here to fight, not just here because we're good. I know I went a little over on that. I don't know why, but let's hop over to OBK. What do you think they got to do to get a victory?
They need to make sure Johannes Lenius is also on the field. I don't know what was going on with that. Like I seen him on some drives, and some drives he wasn't on the field. And one thing that I'm not seeing them do, they're not connected with baby Lenius Jasper. Sometimes I'm not
there's
sure.
only one ball. There's only one ball. They got a lot of playmakers.
Yeah, I mean they do. I mean, like what do they need to do? Oh, Jakob JB, I'm gonna call it that. Jakob Machine, that boy certified.
Yeah.
Certified, man. I seen him the way that he's patient and explode, and he has some juice. Like not to say that Americans are superior, but let's be real. He plays a bit like Americans. And
you just named three guys.
Yeah,
and there's only one ball.
Yeah.
And they got to try to spread that out.
Yeah, he's a playmaker. Yeah. Oh, my daughters came in. Hey, Deanna.
Good.
Hoodie. Is it cold? Her jacket.
But I'll jump in a little bit then about them. That's fine. No worries. For me, I think OBK has a really good chance to win this game. They're talented on both offense and defense. I think their defense, they're going to have to put some pressure on TRSO. But even if they do put pressure on them, it's more of a long game. TRSO's offense is streaky at times. So even if you think you have them controlled, you have to do it for 4 quarters because they can, bust it at any point in time. Kevin Borzay could break out at any point. The running back double V, he could go long at any point. You never know what's going to happen. Even the number 20 last week had a big run, not to mention the number 4 young kid. They got a lot of good runners, as well as the receiving core is good. I don't know all the guys personally like Juice does, but they have a lot of talent. So you can't just stop them early and think, okay, we got a lead, we're going to be okay. When you're playing this team, you have to consistently be on your P's and Q's against the TRSO team. And then on the offensive side, I agree with what Juice was saying. I say get the ball to JB. If he's able to have a good game, you're in control of the tempo. You're able to dictate what happens in the game because you can decide, okay, we're going to run it or we're going to pass it. And as long as he's able to move the sticks, you'll be able to move the ball on this team, and then you'll get down the field and throw a fade to Vasey. And once you get in the 20-yard line, just throw the fade to Vasey, and you'll be fine. So I think for Orro, it's more of a long game. You got to play 4 full quarters and control the ball on offense, and you'll be fine. And obviously, if it comes down to the end of the game, and you need a big play, and it's got to come from either of these teams, OBK is more likely to make that big play. So for them, it's okay to keep the game close until the fourth quarter. Say, hey, we just want to keep it close enough that all we got to do is make a play because we can and we believe that we can. Because that's how they play. They play like that the entire game. So I think they have a really good chance to get something done with that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it for keys to victory. All right. Fourth quarter. Let's get into these weekend picks. It's not easy to make these picks, but we will make them. And you can also see them on Instagram at Pro Football Sweden, where you make your comments. No need to flood the DMs. First game, Karlstad Crusaders versus K-Town Predators. Who do you got and why, Juice?
No disrespect to Karlstad, but I'm going with Karlstad Crusaders. And the reason why is because Karlstad is on the road, and it's not easy to win inside of Karlstad. Karlstad already took one L there, and I'm telling you now, they're not feeling it to take another one there in the playoffs. And honestly, the next honest point is that it's just when it comes to these the matchups, and the type of intensity that Karlstad is going to see. They didn't meet at all during the season, correct? They didn't meet at all during the season.
I don't think so. They didn't play.
I don't think so. And I think like Karlstad is another level, I saw Matisse. I don't know if Matisse getting a little bit bald, but his hair was quite low when the helmet came off. And we know when starting to bald, that I don't know what type of energy they get, when they say you get your dad's strength and things like this, that bald strength, I think it's something different. So when he get his paws on you, it's gonna be different. So I'm going with Karlstad.
I'm definitely going with Karlstad. I mean, they're the better team in this matchup. Not to say that K-Town can't make the upset. It's possible. But the way they've been playing, the championship is in Karlstad. So obviously they would like to be there for that game. And then, the CEFL didn't work out for them this year, and they kind of expected to be in that championship. I mean, I feel like they're gonna pull a Denzel Washington on and say, I'm leaving here with something. And they're not gonna let anybody be in the way of that. The Predators just happen to be in the way this week. Moving on to the second game, we have, I don't know why I don't have it written here. I have the Tiraso Royal Crowns versus Orebro Black Knights. Who do you got and why? This is a tough
one. This is a really, 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 really tough one. And my first initial thought was, I don't know. But when I break it down mentally in my head, I think about, okay, what's the firepower with Orebro's offense? No, I'm gonna tell you who's gonna win. I'm going with Tiraso. And the reason why I'm going Tiraso, I break it down like this. Orebro, they have a lot of playmakers where you can throw the ball to. When it comes down to the running back play, I think that Jacob Bershina is really good, but I think that he might get a bit dominated when it comes to an American linebacker and these new players that just pop out of nowhere from Tiraso. I don't know where number 50 or 52 just come from. I'm like, bro, he's making tackles in the backfield doing this. Then you got they got Caesar, putting pressure on the quarterback, and that boy, he got some juice coming. Ball is going to make a highlight for this guy. I'm telling you, he got enough plays for a nice highlight. He's probably going ELF or something like this soon if he wants to. And I think that's going to get shut down. That's the key for them. Yeah, they can throw in, Big Bro, 33 for them. Philip Johnson, Johnson. They can throw him in there, but it's not going to make crazy difference. For them, it's good that you got a two-way player. Trevor Vasey, I think when it comes down to the matchup, Trevor Vasey's a good receiver. He's better quarterback. I think Sebastian can handle him if they have Sebastian just travel with him. I think Sebastian can actually handle him. Like, Sebastian has really good technique. If he's preparing really well against Versailles and things like this, that's going to be shut down. Then the next thing they got to think about is Johannes Linnaeus, in the passing game. And then that's the top two matchups top two playmakers for them when it comes to the passing game. Jasper is really good. I believe in Jasper a lot. I wish he can come to Finland. And the guy Hammer as well is good. But
I was going to say Hammer's pretty good too.
But when it comes down, those are the real playmakers that he's really throwing the ball to. And I think they can get washed when it comes to Tiraso. Then when I flip it around, when I look at, what Tiraso is really good at, is these little cute play designs. You know, we got Double V, Vilago, run the ball, and they got so many playmakers, and they got Pablo. Pablo didn't show off this past game, but trust me, I seen Pablo when I was in Spain. That guy, I recommended him to go to Tirso as well. That guy can ball. He may not be the fastest player on the team, but he got that slow man subtleness to get going, and it might show up in the next game. He got his little warm up game. He probably don't even know all the plays, so he just need to get his feet wet. But I think Tirso is going to pull it off. Even though they don't play super well at home, and as I said, I really don't know, but I'm going Tirso just based off the logical matchups.
I'm going off my gut 100%. I'm going with Tirso because I have a Tirso hoodie. I don't have any gear from Orebro, so I got no reason to root for them when it really matters. I think either team can win. I wash my hands of it, but I'm going with Tirso, representing for the 135, baby. Let's go. That's it for this episode of Pro Football Sweden. Anything we missed that need to be discussed in the overtime, Juice?
Not too much. There was one play that I saw, and I wanted to. I think he was French. The Caesar Hebel. He had a little bit of a dirty play on the running back. As he tackled him, gave him a little extra shove in there, like, "Hey, bro, c'est pas bon ici. We don't need that here." You know what I mean? But I thought it was a little bit dirty, and those little things that can cost teams. So I wanted to give you a warning, like, be smart. Love the physicality of the guy. Love the physicality of him, but that's not so smooth. We don't need that. And Thick Vic, he shows some speed. I wanted to shout that out. Like, he kind of broke away. Like, after Roy Kelly tried to get him, that small separation, it was enough for him to hit that edge. And I was like, bro. Even the commentators said it too. It was like,
it didn't look like he was going to be able to do that, but then
I did not think he had that in him, at all. Especially with that thickness up top. You know what I'm saying? Thick Vic.
Big Vic.
He had that, but he's doing good. But man, I just want to say good luck to all the teams, in the playoffs and who made it, and all the other teams who did make it. That was 4-4. Good job for getting to do what you needed to do at the end of the season, but unfortunately, y'all didn't get there. And last thing I wanted to also mention is to Copenhagen Towers. I know that you guys you were disappointed in the season. A lot of the good talent is probably in the ELF or etc. But come back to the Super Series next year. Don't think because y'all went 0 and whatever, y'all can still bounce back. Kristianstad didn't have the greatest season last year, and now they're playoff teams. Just fix the little small mistakes that you guys did. Maybe get some imports in. Probably don't need to get a bunch of Americans. Get some top EU players, pay them whatever you can afford, and have a good season, or get some good coaching. I think everything starts with coaching and leadership. So don't get discouraged from not winning the games. You guys had some good fights. Come back.
You reminded me, and I want to throw it out there. Did you see the play when Tirso was playing and the number 3 receiver caught the pass in the back of the end zone, and then he did the Allen Iverson? Like, I don't care what nobody say. Yeah. He stepped over that man, so people know that he stepped over that man.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I thought it was going to be a penalty, but it wasn't on him.
They gave both of them. They gave both of them.
They gave both of them penalty? Okay.
They gave it to both of them.
They offset that way. That makes sense. Because that's what I was like, I don't see a penalty, but maybe because I thought that was crazy. I'm just saying. I don't know if you saw it, but that was crazy.
Yeah, I saw it. It was on the call. It was on my boy Kalle.
Yeah, stepped over that man. Yeah, and hey, Kalle, I'm with you though. I'll fight over that too. That's them fighting words.
Yeah, but as I said, man, I love Anton Bjork, y'all. Even though I don't know him, I just followed him on the gram maybe a week ago or 2 weeks. I don't know, but when I'm in Stockholm, I might need to go swing by. I think he's a cool guy. He's a cool kid.
So last thing I'm gonna say, my overtime. I mean, I don't really have nothing. I like the season. I think it went okay. I'm actually gonna do another show about the actual season, so I won't talk about it too much. But good luck to all the teams in the playoffs and the teams that are not in the playoffs. I suggest that you support the Super Serien League and either try to go to a game that's close to you, or watch a game on Sweet Three Play, or follow it on Twitter and do updates or something, just so that there's more eyes on the game in Sweden. I think even if you're not playing, you can still support the league and support all the other teams that are playing. I think that's one thing that we have to make sure that we're trying to do going forward is it's not just about you and your team. There's also a larger picture. And one thing that's on everybody's mind with like the ELF and how that translates is, does it take away from these leagues? Sweden and Finland are a couple of the few leagues that can survive the ELF, if that makes sense. And it all comes down to the community supporting each other. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that even if your team isn't in the playoffs, even if you yourself aren't in the playoffs, you can still support and let people know about these games coming up this weekend. And with that, yeah, make sure everybody watches the games this weekend. Good luck to all the teams that are playing. We'll be back next week with more insights and opinions. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all social channels at Pro Football Sweden. We will see you next week. Peace.
Deuces. Lycka till.